Welcome to another episode of the Online Prosperity Experience podcast. You're about to hear your host, Prosper Taravinga's powerful digital marketing strategies and actionable tactics that you can use right now. Prosper has helped more than 50,000 people from over 10 countries to create meaningful businesses that are profitable and enjoyable. Listen to this podcast so that you too can build your own business with less stress and overwhelm. Let's get started.
5 website mistakes and how you can actually avoid them. You see, we work with a lot of coaches, consultants, and small business owners, and half of them, you might be surprised, still don't see the relevance or the need to actually have a website or some sort of credible online presence. Most coaches would have maybe a Facebook presence, Instagram, and they get a lot of TikTok videos liked, shared, and they think that is what will actually help them get a business that's profitable and enjoyable. And I know before me or before anybody else, there was a lot of gurus out there that are, claiming that you don't necessarily need a website. And I call that BS, because a business or you being a coach, consultant, or small business owner, your online presence, regardless of what industry you're in, can have a massive impact on your success. And in this day and age, some businesses still don't realize that a majority of their customers will visit their website before making a purchase. And having a very strong online presence, particularly on your website, can actually make or break your generating of more revenue. I mean, we're always talking about you having a business that's profitable and enjoyable, but if you don't have a entry into the online space, which is in the form of a website where people can actually come through and understand what your purpose is and differentiate who your ideal customer is and learn how you are actually better than your competition, then how else do you think you're going to be competing? And yes, the quality of your website actually impacts the results, but the purpose of this podcast is to just stress the simple importance of making sure that you actually do have a website. And if you want to see how your website compares against your competition, we do have a website audit tool on www.livelongdigital.com.au. Just plug in your website there and your email address, and you will get a report that actually tells you where you are missing the mark in terms of having a website that actually converts. All right. The reason why why I'm actually saying this is because I've helped numerous coaches and consultants and businesses of varying sizes actually create a digital presence. In actual fact, if you look at our testimonies and our case histories, we've helped more than 450 businesses in and around Australia to actually start, scale, and grow profitable enterprise. And in some cases, most businesses are hesitant to get online just because they feel that they're probably not tech savvy enough and they don't understand how to actually manage a website, or they just think it's just way too difficult and it's easy to just show up on Facebook and pay to play. And in other instances, some coaches and consultants are actually concerned about the price. And the reason why I'm actually saying out this podcast today and what prompted me to talk about this topic is I'm going back and forth with a potential customer who is asking me all these questions about the website and why it's important and why I'm charging the amounts that I'm charging and all of that stuff. Well, let me tell you something. If you can't show how and why you are better than your competition, and if you don't have a permanent place where you tell the story you want your customers to believe about the value you create, and you don't show people how you actually reach out to them so they can get your services, your consulting, your training, your information, or your expertise at times that are convenient to them, then you, my friend, are not in business. But the good news is there's a solution out there that would actually work for you. And if you still need convincing, well, let me tell you something. Here are some top reasons why it's actually important for your business to have a website that is converting. If you're a coach or a consultant, credibility should be at the top of the reasons why you're going to need to have some sort of online presence. And one of the main reasons you should have a website for your business is to increase your business credibility. Chances are there are several providers that are offering similar services to you. And one way you can actually stand out is by having a website that looks good and clearly communicates quality information to your consumers or people that are in your target market space. And without a website, people may question the legitimacy of your business, because the bar to entry in this space that we're in has been so lowered by the fact that anyone with a pair of sweatpants and a t-shirt and a laptop can call themselves a coach or consultant. And having a website is an opportunity to actually make a great first impression and give people the comfort that you're a real legitimate business that will help people with their problems. I know, obviously, as a coach or consultant, growing your own business is tough. You're cold calling potential clients and having them maybe hang up in your face, and you probably sending out hundreds of emails without getting as much as a hey, thank you so much for reaching out. And you're wasting thousands of dollars on ad spend without generating any qualified leads. The problem might be you're not credible enough in their own eyes. You know what I mean? Sometimes it feels like no one wants to buy what you're selling. And if you're relying on your business to pay rent and put food on the table, then you're going to need to showcase that you're a credible source that can solve whatever problems people are going through. Remember, as coaches or consultants, we are dealing with real world problems. We're dealing with people's lives, people's finances, people's relationships. And if you cannot at least show some sort of effort that here I'm the right person to alleviate you from whatever pain you're going through, then if you can't look after your own business, how are you going to look after somebody else's life or whatever it is that they're going through? Okay. And one other thing that a lot of people will then gravitate towards your business is just your brand, because people buy from those that they know, like, and trust. So if you're showcasing your brand to prospective customers, this becomes one of the most important things that you'd want to do for your business, because your brand then, helps you create ambassadors out there which are, singing praises about your world-class service and the world-class experience that they have established. And it's easy for you then to show up to, skeptics or people that have not yet quite been exposed to your expertise, so that with your brand, you can literally justify their failures on why they haven't been able to achieve what it is that your solution provides, and encourage their dreams. And only a fully formed brand, either a personal brand or your business brand, which is delivered through your website, will help them make a decision faster. Okay, so it is actually one of the most important things that you can do for yourself, and the vehicle for you to deliver that brand will be your platform where you actually tell your story. And what better place to do that, instead of your website? So if you clearly establish who you are, what you represent, and what you actually stand for, you increase the chances of customers buying from you. And this is also something that can actually set you apart from your competitors. Anyone can be an NLP practitioner. Anyone can, instigate change management or marketing management or HR, protocols in any business. But your life story and your experience are the things that set you apart, where your platform is because people should hear it, they should see it, they should read it, they should experience it. And this is where you showcase your mastery. All right. This is how you then set yourself apart from your competitors. Not that you've got better customer service, not that you've got a better nurturing system. That doesn't set you apart. That's just, what is expected of our customers out there. And without a website, it can be incredibly challenging for you to actually control the narrative of how people can easily find and how people can relate to the information about your business. How else are you going to be able to tell your story in a way that is uniform and consistent, and you don't have to worry about what the algorithm is thinking about today? And once you've got a brand that's out there, you now have a way to actually convert your audience. Your website creates for you a conversion strategy where you actually go in and deepen the relationships with your prospective customers and start turning onlookers or searchers of the internet explorers into leads. Because perhaps one of the most intriguing reasons for you to have a website for your business is because it can actually increase your chances of getting leads. Yes, maybe you might be paying loads and loads of money, or wasting thousands of dollars on ad spend without generating any qualified leads, or you're sending out hundreds of emails without getting as much as thank you for reaching out, because these people don't know they don't know how to equate what it is or the solutions that you're providing because they've got no reference point, and the reference point would be none other than your website. And once people find you online, they become interested in your product or your service, and they want more, and they will they'll know how to contact you thanks to the information that you've provided us on your website, which actually then gives you the opportunity to increase your sales and convert so many other people, so you can help people, with whatever modality that you're providing out there. Even though websites have a cost, when they're used correctly, they have positive return on investment, because you don't have to then keep repeating yourself to everybody else who's inquiring about your business out there. Once your website is converting, you need to have a growth strategy. This is basically a plan for attracting even more customers, and this is where organic traffic actually starts to pay dividend, because once you're online, you have maybe a SEO optimized website, which obviously you have a chance of showing up on Google results. And this actually means that when people are searching for a product or a service, there's a chance that your website will actually show up in the results, and it then gives you an opportunity to drastically increase your customer base. And we all know that when we now have a lot of these leads, converting them into happy customers that actually pay, stay, and refer, all you got to do is just keep tapping into those people that are working, those people that are actually converting. Because let me tell you something. As an entrepreneur, okay, marketing or having a website or generating leads is just one aspect of running a successful business. You're hiring, you're managing staff, you're balancing books, you're driving growth, and a whole lot more. And it all feels like a constant balancing act where you're pulled in multiple different directions all at once. And I can understand, as a coach or consultant, your real goal is just to help your clients. You want to spend as much time as possible changing people's lives and solving people's problems. And you don't want to waste countless hours each week trying to navigate the world of online marketing. If you've got a website that has already identified your target market and has got a clear message, it becomes a perpetual lead capturing device. And once you've got that in play and Google understands what it is that you do and who you do it for, it will be driving traffic, organic traffic that you don't even have to pay for. And once you have all of that in place, you start having a business that's profitable and enjoyable. And, having a website just really gives you a reference point for where your potential clients and your current clients can reach out to. Maybe they want support, or they want some sort of customer service, just so that or maybe they want to refer clients to you. Okay. When people know where to send referrals to, and the story to give people that might need your service, this actually makes your marketing a whole lot cheaper. You see now where the website is starting to pay for itself, because it saves you time. You don't have to keep repeating yourself to new people that are coming through, because a lot of coaches and consultants, they get calls from prospects or existing customers just asking them simple questions, maybe about location and maybe hours of operation. And if you miss the call, your customer is left unhappy. And guess what then happens? They might start looking for another provider, But calls can also maybe distract you as a business owner, or your team, because you then no longer focus on the important parts of your business. Whereas if you've got a website that is fully functional, it reduces these calls and it actually increases internal productivity. And at the same time, it actually helps your customers find all this information without needing to call, which ultimately provides an all-round better user experience. Because if people can find the information that they want, if you notice, not a lot of people like being on the phone these days. So if they can find all the information that they want, it makes it super easy for them to actually make an informed decision about what the next step would be in their buyer's journey. And if you've got any announcements or if you've got any updates, yes, you can put them on social media and inform whoever you think is your audience. But if they are on your website, you know that the right kind of people that need to hear that information will definitely get that message. And since your website is available 24/7 and you can't be available 24/7, it's easy for you to actually post all of these updates and announcements to your customers, all right, without them having to wake you up in the middle of the night, just trying to find out what time you're opening up tomorrow. And it's a way to keep them up to date on just about everything that you're doing. If you've got new products or if you've got new systems, maybe these days with the pandemic, you've got new protocols that you're following. All of that information, if it's available on your website, then obviously it just gives you a good night's sleep. And when something is particularly relevant to them, it actually increases the chances of you being able to then upsell them. You know why? Because they know they can find you in the sea of Me Too coaches and consultants up there. And you might just say, oh yeah, you're saying that because you're a digital marketing person, or this is your plan to then maybe upsell your audience to websites and things like that. Let me tell you something. If you're planning to win in this game and actually leveraging on digital marketing to increase maybe your leads and actually grow your business, you likely want to drive traffic to your website or a landing page instead of just using social media as your online presence. And for you to do this effectively, you want to leverage historic traffic that has been going to your website so you can target the most qualified customers and get the best return on your investment on any ad spend. This is when you can put a pixel or some sort of analytics tracking that Google or Facebook will then pick up on people that have once visited your site, and you can retarget them. Just because people are not going to immediately jump onto any offers that we might have, they need to know, like, and trust us a little bit more. And if you then are spending money on ad spend, it's easy for you to retarget these people. Okay, and this is something that can be set up, easily. So it's best to get your website running early, even if you're not planning to run ads at the moment, because it starts collecting data for you without you even being present, for that data to be collected. Okay. And websites have become essential to businesses today. And I strongly recommend creating one if you haven't done so already. And you can actually improve it over time. But the key is to start. When I officially launched my business, the first significant thing that I did was create a website. And that was obviously in 2014, 2015, where websites were still very difficult to come by because you needed a developer, you needed a whole lot of things. But these days, there are so many tools and products out there in the marketplace that can help you create a well-to-do website that actually does the trick. I was thrilled when I immediately saw that all of my hard work and investment was starting to pay off, just simply because I was now generating leads and people were referring to my site. And I was actually amazed when people from all around the world that I didn't even know started asking for my consulting help, all because they had found me on the website and in the directories that I was putting myself out there. And no one much surprised me than when I landed my first six-figure gig with a company in the UK with a client I had never met in person. And I can literally trace over $500,000 in revenue to leads that have just been generated strictly through my website. I mean, over the years, we've done SEO, and obviously we're digital marketing experts, so I do know my way around the internet, and the website has been the only constant thing that has helped us do and have a business that's actually profitable and enjoyable. And that's what I really want to impart to you. I'm not bragging or trying to impress you with all these figures and numbers and everything else. I just want to impress upon you that website actually do work. And let me tell you something, and this is a really huge but, I got a ton of constructive feedback on my website on everything from my photo on my homepage. If you notice, the photo that's on my homepage there is now professionally done. Back in the time, it used to be like I was just this party boy, to the language that I used, and the language that I used in my value proposition, which I still do up until now. So I made a few changes, which was a big mistake, huge. No one knows your business more than you actually do, okay? And when you're creating and going to work on your website, you really need to make sure that you've got the right information. You created your why, your purpose. You've targeted who your ideal customer is. And for you to know who your ideal customer is, you need to find out who exactly needs your information, because not everyone is your customer. Who is already buying the products or services that you're selling right now, and who can you actually create new information for? And then find a way to serve all of those people. You know what I mean? Once you have gotten that, rinse and repeat, because once you've identified your target market, it's so easy for you to clarify your message and speak directly to the people that are actually going through the problems that you are able to fix for them. And once you've gotten all of that, showcase the difference. All right, what is your actual story? Because your life story and your experience is what then differentiates you in the marketplace. How and why are you better than each and every other person that is out there? And why is it so important that your people will be, your target audience would want to work with you? So you want to be clear on the purpose and strategy of everything having to do with your website, because every page needs to have a purpose and a goal, which ultimately is a call to action so that you can engage people in some way, right? You want to ask people to download something, send an email, call you, sign up for your newsletter, etc. All right, because if you choose to put articles and videos on your website, which you absolutely should, because how else are you going to be able to tell a compelling story? They should have a purpose, which is to warm up your leads and make them feel trust in your competence and connect with your personality, okay? Each and every one of us is super, super different, all right? Like if you put out your fingers out there, or if you put out your hands out there, you'll notice that no two fingers on the same hand are of the same height, all right? So once you've gotten all that, you want to make sure that you're reaching out to the right people that get you, that are willing and able to pay for your services, okay? And all of this is okay, in as much as creating your website and everything else. You should also measure what's actually working Okay, because there's no point in just having a website for website's sake. So this is where you install analytics or heat maps on your site, and you should definitely use them. These are the things that are you put on your site, that makes it work better and gives you tremendous insight as to what is actually drawing your ideal clients and what is not doing it for them. If you want greater results, do more of what's working and quickly dump what is not. Okay, because if you are creating for and relating to an audience, okay, and if you don't quite know what it is that is actually bringing them to your website, then you'll be using the wrong bait or the wrong lead magnets, and then you'll wonder why your website is actually not converting. Okay, and one other thing that I also notice when people are creating their website is the language that they use. Yes, we might be able to understand what it is that we want to do, but remember, our customer is already bombarded with so much information. We want to use pull versus push language. Okay, and I'll explain this to you a little bit. Pull language is the leading with the felt need that your client has. What does your client absolutely want from you? Okay, and push language is where you sort of hope to get them. Okay, where are you trying to take them to? Pull is when you're actually telling them what is it that they actually need, instead of telling them what it is where they need to go to. And when I get that no one I actually get that no one likes to feel like they have a problem. But the truth is, people rush to Google more often than not when they have a problem, and they're more likely to part with their money when they have a pain point that they want to resolve. No one wants to sit around with a pain point, because everyone is trying to run away from pain. Okay, so if you use pull language, you are leading with what the need is that the customer has. Do you actually understand the right pain that your customers are going through right now? Do you understand what it is that is keeping them up at night? If I'm looking at my audience, or if I'm looking at people that we end up helping, your coaches and consultants, people that are looking to maybe generate more leads and grow their business. One of the things that happening in their business is they're spending most of their days working isolated by themselves on a computer, maybe in a dark room, and hoping that people will actually find them. And they're spending the last minutes of their on their pillow at night worried about how to get more clients, and they really feeling the pinch of the raising ad costs or the changes in the algorithm. If I don't write towards those pain points, people will never understand why they need to then have a business that's profitable and enjoyable. Okay, so you really need to address your customers' pain points. That is why you need to have an in-depth understanding of who your target market is, and that will be easy, and that will be apparent by the type of audience that you are actually attracting to your website. And once you do that, the way that you address all of this information is through your platform, because your blog now becomes more than a fun place to write your latest thoughts or inspirations. It becomes a tool that allows you to have an online repository of your intellectual property, and a critical way that actually draws in leads and give them immediate value. Okay, because people are coming to the internet to get information, and if your blog or your website is then providing that information, you create that know, like, and trust factor that we always talk about. And we know that people do business with those that they know, like, and trust. And in reference to the pull sort of language, once you start writing how to set up how to type information, you then become named with searchable terms. You know what I mean? Or you become known for providing that information, you become characterized so that people can easily find you with related content, and you also maybe have calls to action in between your content there that people can actually then use. Okay, all in all, what you are going to be creating as a platform where you can then tell your story and get people to know, like, and trust you, and enhance your credibility in the process. And that's what a website can do for you. And lastly, you want to integrate maybe social proof and ways for people to connect with you so that they get to quickly understand the type of person that you are. I'm not just talking about testimonials here or case studies or your contact us page. Whenever you make a promise on your site, back it up with maybe an example from your experience, and just move the relationship forward with an opportunity to connect, because people want to work with what has worked for other people. And one piece of advice I've constantly given to maybe new consultants or coaches is to invest properly in a web presence so they can establish their credibility. Now, armed with this hard-earned insight from maybe my mistakes or things that our clients are going through, I want to add, as you shoot for credibility, also shoot for conversion. Credibility is great, but why leave money and opportunity on the table? Because who knows where your best clients can come from, and they could come from your website. You know why? Because people want to work with those that they know, like, and trust. I can't wait to see your websites out there, you providing value and actually creating for and relating to your audience. And I'm really excited to be receiving all the emails about consulting, coaching, and entrepreneurship from people asking me all of these questions. Please keep them coming so that I have enough content for these podcasts. In the meantime, go out there and make sure that you are creating the best website and the best platform so that your audience can be able to find you. Bye for now.
Thank you for joining us today. If you have any questions, let's continue the conversation in the Live Long Digital community. Become a Live Long Digital community member today. This community is for ambitious entrepreneurs and small business owners with the drive to take control of the future of their businesses and achieve huge success without stress and overwhelm. As you heard, Prosper can help you by teaching you marketing strategies that work. So look no further than the Live Long Digital community of entrepreneurs and highly successful business owners. Join our community today. Find us on www.community.livelongdigital.com.au. Network with other driven entrepreneurs and find the expert guidance you need to take your business to the next level. www.community.livelongdigital.com.au.